Hello everyone, welcome to the 12 days of Christmas. Christmas has always been my absolute favorite time of year. Although it doesn't really get cold here that often, I still enjoy it because it's a time for family to get together. Let's get into what you'll need to follow along. Of course, you're going to need a pencil, eraser, watercolor paper, watercolor paint, a brush. For watercolor paper, I'm using 100% cotton cold pressed paper, and I am cutting them to postcard size. For paints, I'm using Holbein artist grade watercolor paints. Throughout each video, I will be labeling what paint I'm using at that time. For a paintbrush, I'm just using a small round. This is a number 4. Of course, you'll also need 2 cups of water, one for clean and one for dirty. Optional is paper tape and a clipboard. Additionally, I will be putting all the outlines on Patreon for download. So if you want to support me, you can go over to my Patreon and sign up as a member. Then you'll get all the outlines at the same time as the video comes out. All right, thank you so much. Let's get into painting. Hi everyone, welcome to day 10 of the 12 days of Christmas. For day 10, we have this cute little envelope with some pine leaves coming out. So similar to day 3, we have the branches painted, but we don't have the actual leaves coming out. So we're just going to paint those wherever and kind of fill up the space. But the first thing we'll do is paint our envelope. So for this, we're using yellow ochre, water it down with quite a watery wash. This brown is going to be a little bit different from the reference photo. And then when we get to those branches, we'll just paint a little bit outside here. Get those branches in. All right, clean off our brush, grab our burnt umber, just drop it in wherever you want. And then we can drop a little bit here in the back because the pines will be making a shadow on the envelope. And then one more thing, you can also paint a little bit here. Off our brush, just blend it out. So, we want to make the envelope look like it's textured paper. It's not just completely flat. Okay, wow, that was really fast. That's the first layer done. We're gonna wait for it to dry, and once it dries, we'll erase the pencil lines and start going in with the green leaves. All right, with everything dry to the touch, I've also erased our pencil lines, but now we can't really see what is what. So I think we're gonna go in with a watery burnt umber and paint those branches back so we can see what is what. There we go. Probably one here, one here. Okay, it's time for green. So we're just going to start with green as is. We're not going to mix anything into it. Let's try to get it nice and watery. And then, just look at the reference photo and see where you want to add those needles in. So that's done. We need to wait for it to dry. It is dry, well, almost dry. And each time we do another layer of leaves, we're gonna have to wait for it to dry before painting. For the second layer, I'm going to add yellow into the green, so it becomes like a more warm, light green. So I'm just gonna paint a few here and there. You can see it really changes the temperature of the paint painting. That's all. I guess we could go in with a darker wash. For this one, I'm going to be mixing Prussian blue into our green. Just make it darker. And, fill in some spots here and there. Okay, so with that done, we can give a bit more interest to the envelope. Like we did with the gift box, we can dab around a bit and kind of give it that papery texture. I'm just using yellow ochre and first dabbing a bit and then with clear water kind of smoothing it out. We can put one over here. And this is yellow ochre not mixed with anything. There we go. Maybe we could grab a bit of burnt umber. Mix it in as well. Dab, dab, dab. It just makes it look like it's more papery. All right, so that's the third layer done. Let's let it dry off and then come back again with our final layer. All right, we're moving on to our final layer. For the green, I'm going to add just a little bit more of that Prussian blue to make it that much darker. And we're going to paint our last bits of pines. So as you can see, I think I put too much blue. It's looking more blue than green. And then I'm gonna clean off my brush and get a bit more green to add into that and mix it back in. And then we have a dark green. Yeah, that looks quite nice. Okay, I'm gonna take some burnt umber and try to paint some of those branches back. Just darken it a bit. I want it to look different from the envelope. I think that's done for the pines coming out of the envelope. The envelope itself is looking a little flat. I think we need to add some of those edges back in. Let's take our burnt umber and paint just a tiny bit. So it is, I don't know, it's nice, but I feel like something is missing. And I think it's just because it's very green and brown. So what we're gonna do is we're going to paint a bit of red on the very bottom. See a kind of shadow. And that is day 10 done. There are only 2 more days until Christmas Day. Christmas Eve and then Christmas Day. We have 2 more paintings. Thank you for following along with me, and I'll see you until the end.